pushed out because I was sick. So anyway, sorry about that, internet. Do you want to, what is this
Are
doing?
you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I I had a heart attack there. I'm like, I'm not seeing it on the other screen because I'm working from two screens so that I can still see you guys as
Okay.
well.
No,
Um,
we can see it. It's all good.
okay.
Oriel, all the best to you. I'm super excited to see what you've got for us tonight, and I think it's a great topic. So over to you, my friend.
Okay. So evening, guys. Thank you for joining the session. Uh, I truly appreciate for you guys showing up. So let's find a comfortable position or place and allow ourselves to be present as I take you on my journey. Phones, email into the next 30 minutes with me, that we park our to-do lists, our work, our personal issues, our stress of the day, and be present with me. Once we're done, we're more than welcome to collect everyone in the parking lot once again. All right. Today's session, I would like to discuss mental and physical health. Before I start, I'd like to do a check-in and So this is where you would either in the chat just put the emoji in or the heart, depending on how you're feeling. I'd appreciate everyone's participation. If you're not comfortable sharing, I will be comfortable with that. So if you can please just share with me how you are feeling or in what space you are today. Thank you so much for your participation and your honesty. So as we go into the presentation this evening, before we start our mindful practices, I'd like to give you the definition for mindfulness as per Dr. John Kabat-Zinn. All right. So mindfulness is paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, as non-judgmental, non-reactively, and open-heartedly as possible. So as we go into our first mindful practice, I know it's in the evening, energy levels are low, it's been a long day, so this practice is just to boost the energy a bit. It's a quick fix, guys. So let's start with, we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. So let's start. We're going to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. Allow your body to relax. Relax your shoulders. You may roll them a bit, move your neck from side to side, releasing all that tension and stress that's built up for the day. All right. Our breath is extremely powerful because it gives us energy for the day. So breathing deeply, we oxygenate our bodies and our minds. We're often exhausted and drained, which is difficult to focus as we're oxygen deprived. So let us take a few minutes to refuel our body with oxygen. All right, so we're going to do a breathing exercise to the count of 4. So you're going to breathe in, count to 4, hold to the count of 4, and exhale to the count of 4. We're going to do this 4 times. You may close your eyes during this. If you feel you're going to fall asleep or you're going to drift off, you may just drop your head and we may do the exercise. Okay, let's do the first one. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. All right. So guys, we're going to move into the next step where we're just going to breathe at our own pace and our own rhythm. What I want us to do is to take your right hand, touch your left shoulder, give it a little bit of a massage and a rub down on the shoulder, just waking it up. Move down to your upper arm, give it a rub, a massage. Move down to your forearm, giving it a rub and a massage, and then to your left hand, energizing and waking up those body parts. Then we're going to take our right hand and do the exact same, touching the shoulder, giving it a massage and a rub, the forearm, the lower arm, the right hand. All right, energizing and reviving. Then we're going to take both our hands and we're going to touch our thighs. I know you can't see that. Just touch our thighs, just rubbing it, some massaging it a bit. And if you're able to bend over, touching the lower parts of your legs, you're able to do that as well. Just waking up all the and getting all the energy in the body. Then we're gonna rub our hands together, guys. Let's just make it a bit warm. It's cold, we know it's winter. Let's just warm those hands up. All right, and then we're just going to massage our jaws up to our temples and back down, releasing the stress that's been stored up in our jaws for the day. And then last but not least, we're going to take our middle fingers and we're just going to tap the top of our heads just to make sure that we are awake and that we are present. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for doing the first mindful exercise with us. So, right, I'm going to take you through the session or the lesson this evening. Okay, deep breath for myself, but nervous, but here we go. All right, so physical health. So physical health is the functioning of the body, how the body grows, feels, moves, and how you take care of it, and obviously what we put into it. Physical health is divided into 4 dimensions, which is the physical, the mental, emotional, and social. Just to give a few of what we look at in those dimensions is physical, is specifically, we're looking at the quality of our life, our fitness, our posture, fighting off illnesses, weight control, and then under mental, we're looking at depression, anxiety, better sleep, increased mental alertness, and more energetic, sorry. Under emotional, we look at our moods and our feelings. We look at our self-worth, our self-esteem, and our self-confidence. Under social, it's building those skills, strengthening current relationships, and building new friendships. Also increasing family time. What is mental health? So mental health is our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. It also determines how we handle stress, how we interact with others, and what choices we make in life. So physical health significantly increases the risk of mental health problems and vice versa. 1 in 3 people that have long-term physical health issues or conditions also suffer from mental illness, often in the form of depression and anxiety. A common saying, and something that I've learned to live by, is that if you don't take care of your health, you'll be forced to take care of your illness. So I'm going to share a story with you that's extremely close to my heart. 13 years ago, I was diagnosed with a chronic illness, or autoimmune disease. So my body fights itself constantly, and I'm more sick than I am healthy. When this diagnosis came, I became extremely depressed. I got anxiety, just knowing that I'd be on chemo treatment for the rest of my life due to this journey. I became extremely ill mentally and physically. I even had thoughts of, am I being punished in life? Is it even worth living? I was at my lowest point. Due to outside help and professional help, I seek counseling, and I started working on my mind and how I was thinking. And day by day, I became more mentally strong. And with me being mentally strong, I was able to handle and deal with my illness better. And for me, as time went on, I actually became healthier instead of becoming weaker. And it's because what I focused on were things that were out of my control. I worried about if I'd have a job at the end of the day, my medical aid, if my husband was going to leave me. It was just all those things. And it stole my joy and my happiness. Eventually, I got to a stage where I was more open. I told family and friends of my illness. And to my surprise, I had a strong support structure. Second point in my life where I hit rock bottom was during COVID. So my love language is physical touch. And you all know with COVID, you could not touch or do anything to that effect. So it physically and mentally drained me, and I hit my lowest point. I started having heart palpitations, panic attacks, and I was introduced to mindful sessions, thriving circles, mindful Mondays with Mark. And from that day, I've never regretted a session because I've learned so much how to look after my mind, and my mind looked after me. So that is why I say that you need to look after yourself. It comes back to self-care. So self-care, the 4 areas that we're going to look at is physical self-care. So physical self-care is looking at healthy eating, drinking loads of water, getting plenty of exercises. And I think something that we don't actually pay attention to with self-care is the amount of time that we spend on computers, on cell phones, and TVs. That all affects our mental health issues as well. Those are the times that we need to make time to rest and replenish. So as we sit here, and it's just a thought for you, is to pause and reflect. What are you doing currently for your physical self-care? Okay, then the next point that we look at is emotional self-care. So that's looking after our emotions. And that is where we need to ensure that we have boundaries that are in place for your time and your energy. You need to surround yourself with people that you care about and that care about you. Give and receive love, kindness, and support. And have people that give you emotional support and guidance, helping you through relationships and friendships, and have just a positive impact on your life. So once again, I'm going to ask the question is to pause and reflect. What are you doing for your emotional self-care? The third one is psychological self-care. So that looks at our personal and our professional development. Give attention specifically to the things that are in your control. Take time to reflect. Notice your experiences, your thoughts, your feelings. Cultivate self-awareness through journaling, meditation, coaching, or counseling. This will allow you the opportunity to grow, learn, and reflect. So once again, I ask, what are you doing for your psychological self-care? And last but not least, spiritual self-care. That includes meditation and prayer. This is where we practice gratitude and spend time in nature, being aware of the non-material aspects of our life, identifying what has meaning in our lives, in our work and our personal life, and practice mindfulness and being present in the moment. I ask again, can we pause and reflect? What are you doing for your spiritual self-care? Mindfulness affects the brain as it relates to the perception, body awareness, pain tolerance, and emotion regulation, and the sense of self. Mindfulness even lowers blood pressure, lowers blood pressure, improves inflammation, and helps with pain management. Meditation can even prevent age deterioration in our brain. With daily practice and mindfulness as our daily default response to any scenario we encounter at work or in our personal lives, it would allow us to reap the benefits of having a more healthy body to go with your healthy mind. We are a work in progress, and remember to be non-judgmental, non-reactively, open-heartedly as possible. And it's one day at a time. Acknowledge your feelings, emotions, what triggers us, and we can learn from that day by day. Just something personal from my side is mental health reminders. You are good enough. You can do this. You deserve to be happy. Show yourself compassion. It's okay not to be okay. And it's absolutely okay to ask for help. I'd like to share a quick video with you. It's 5 tips to stay mentally healthy. As we come to the close of our session, we're going to go into our second mindfulness practice. As we're already seated, placing our feet flat on the ground, or if we're sitting on a bed or on a pillow with our legs crossed, if you would like, you can close your eyes as we do this practice. If you feel that you're going to fall asleep, you can just drop your head, relax the muscles around the eyes and face. Notice the sensation that you have within your body. As you breathe, notice the awareness of your breath. As you inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth, how does it feel as the air inflates your abdomen, your belly, your lungs? And as you exhale, are you releasing the tension and the stress in your body? As we breathing in, you calm in your body. And as you breathing out, you calm in your mind. Breathe in, we calm in our body. Breathe out, we calm in our mind. Breathe in, we calm in our body. Breathe out, we calm in the mind. Breathe in, we calm in the body. Breathe out, we calm in the mind. As we come back to a normal breath and rhythm, we continue to breathe in and out. Focus on your breath, in and out, in and out. Any external, internal or external distractions, acknowledge them. Without judgment, coming back to our breath, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, calming our body, breathing out, calming our mind. Breathing in, calming our body, breathing out, calming our mind. We ask, as we come to the end of this mindful practice, I ask that you take one last deep breath in and exhale through your mouth with a sigh. Breathe in and out. Thank you guys for being with me in this session. It's been a pleasure having you. Homework that I'd like for you to consider is two things. First one would be a journaling practice. Is taking note of how you are feeling, how the day went. Did you have any triggers in the day and how you coped with those triggers? And just a grateful practice where you are thankful for the things in your life, whether they are big, small. And the second practice I want us to look at is a grounding exercise. So we all have those days where we feel overwhelmed, panicked, and stressed. And when we are in those situations, to do a grounding exercise. So the grounding exercise is to activate our 5 senses. This helps us to focus less on the anxious thoughts and more to be present in the moment. So it starts from five things that you can see. So in the area where you are sitting currently, what are the 5 things that you can see that are around you? Write them down, list them. Then 4 things, we move to 4 things that you can touch. So in the area where you are sitting, what objects or items are there that you can physically touch with your hands? Next one is 3 things you can hear. So listening to your surroundings in the room that you're in, further in the home, or even external outside the home, the dogs barking, the cars driving. Then 2 things that you can smell. So take a deep breath. And what is it that you are smelling? Perfume, or anything that is within your space. And last, 1 thing that you can taste. So what do you have that's in your mouth that you can taste? Something that you ate or something that you drank just before the session. Doing this will reset your mind and you're able to refocus because it resets your senses. So those are the two practices or homeworks I'd like you to consider. Thank you for your participation and being here. I'd like to end with a quote from Eckhart Tolle. It says, "Life is not as serious as the mind makes it out to be." Thank you, guys.
That's a great quote. Thanks, Auriel. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love that last slide, Auriel. I think now you can take your slides down so we can see everybody.
Yep.
Great. Thank you so much. So friends, I would like to actually go last in my feedback. I've been typing furiously and making lots and lots of notes. So you know, whatever comes to mind, if you would like to maybe say some words for Auriel around the presentation, and don't be shy. You know, positive or constructive, both are welcome. Okay. So would anybody like to go first in some feedback?
I'd just like to say well done to Auriel.
Thanks.
It's really
Thank
daunting,
you.
and I know what you feel like. Even though I've done lots of photo sessions, I'm still nervous for tonight. So well done
Thank
on
you.
doing it.
I'm still
And
shaking.
no, it's really great. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thanks, Danielle. Thanks so much for your words. Any other words for Auriel tonight? Antoinette?
Ron,
Yeah,
you're
I
on
just want to say, can you hear me?
Yeah. Danielle, did you want to say
Okay.
something? No.
Mhm. I just wanted to say thank you so much. I know how tough it is to do this presentation, and I could feel your energy. It's very alive, and the nervousness is normal. The love that came through, and your dedication, and your um, um, that your willingness and your wantingness to share what you've learned from the last weeks and your personal experience from your life. It poured through. So don't even worry about the nervousness. You can just let that go now. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a really nice presentation.
Thanks, Antoinette.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Antoinette.
And yeah, life is definitely not that serious. We make it so, hey?
Definitely.
Great quote. Eckhart Tolle. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other words?
Yeah, Mark, I wanted to go and just say thank you, Auriel, for sharing. I mean, you're such a brave soul. And again, it came through this evening. Sharing your story with us is I think, always, it shows a certain degree of vulnerability and trust, which I so appreciate. I love the reminders. I know that it seems obvious sometimes to some people, but just to be constantly reminded that we need a reminder on the little things that actually matter, reminds us how simple this journey can actually be. And then lastly, just around the five senses, I think it's such a powerful tool or resource that you've shared with us. I know it certainly saved me in many times, and I hope it will for others, you know, who watch you teach back and encounter your other teachings in the future. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bron. Any more? Is that okay? Okay. Auriel, I'm a big fan of you personally, and I have been for a long time. And I think I just want to, you know, obviously go through a couple of points. I enjoyed the way you started. Be very grateful to all of us for joining, and it was nice to express your thanks. I like the analogy that you used, parking our to-do list, our personal issues and our stresses, and then we'll collect everyone in the parking lot later. I thought that was quite funny. It was a nice little touch of humor, you know. Good to start, a little icebreaker. and nice with a bit of humor. I like the check-in with the colors and the hearts. And I think one of my favorite check-ins. I think it's an easy one to check in with. I enjoyed it. And then thanking everybody for their honesty, which is very powerful too. To encourage vulnerability is a very good thing to do, because that's what we're always trying to do, is encourage people to be honest and then congratulate them for being honest. So that was an important thing to do. I ran a session today for Anglo American, and I encouraged people to reach out for help. And all of a sudden, people were saying, where can I get the counselor's number? Where can I get therapy? And they didn't ask that question before, but they were asking it in the session because I made them feel that it was okay to ask, right? So almost like a first responder in a way, or a bridge between us and an EAP. So that's always a good thing. Auriel, very skillful. You look great. You look beautiful. Your lighting is good. Your sound, you showed up so well. Your connection is great. Your hubby's computer served you well. So you can thank him. The definition, bringing that in was excellent. You also used your voice well. So when you started speaking about energy levels being low, your voice increased in volume to wake us up. So you used a bit of dynamics there, and I think that's what you're good at doing. You have a playful voice, and I think that's something you could hone and use more, and use your voice in that way, in terms of dynamics, soft, loud, exaggerate, that sort of thing. It's a very very useful tool. Then nice to use the breath analogy for energy, allowing the body to relax. I like the movements that you did in your session. It was very physical. Again, I think it tied in with your theme of mind and body. So we moving the body. We moved the body quite a bit. The breath was moving. The shoulders were moving. Our minds were, connected, mindful. I liked that. I liked it a lot. Saying that we're oxygen deprived, probably true. I think the box breathing technique is great. The 4x4x4x4. On the Monday night group, we had a lady do a breathing technique, and she went straight into 4-7-8, and it was a little bit painful because 4-7-8, to go into that breath from the get-go is tough, right? It's hard. So you got to start with like a 3-4-5 and then go into 4-7-8. But the box breathing is safe. You're not going to have people passing out or they're getting dizzy. 4-4-4-4, and it's a great breathing technique. So I think you chose the right one. The counting was good, at a good pace of the box breathing. I like the self-massage techniques with a hand on the shoulder and rubbing the arms. Very practical, again, connecting mind and body, which was your theme. Like the rubbing hands together because it's cold, and the massage. And I thought it was skillful, right? Because we could be tired at the end of the day. You had a moment of vulnerability where you said, I'm nervous, but here we go. And, it made us like you and love you even more, right? And it's nice to be vulnerable. And it's nice to explain and express how you're feeling. So you showed up in a mindful way by doing that. Again, a skillful thing to do. And then you win people's hearts over when you do that, automatically, no matter who they are. The slides were great. I loved the icons and the slides you used. Also great continuity. The imagery was good. Nice link to the connection of physical, mental. I love that quote. If you don't take care of your health, you'll be forced to take care of your illness. Then your personal story was excellent and very vulnerable, and even to the point of giving us insight into your fear of your job and your husband maybe leaving you, and that is very deep and very profound. And I felt your anxiety from that time. I actually connected to your pain, and it was very big. So well done for doing that. And then, telling us a positive side, that where you had the strong support, you reached out. Then COVID was hard. You're telling us your love language. We know more about you. When I see you, I'm going to give you a big hug. Self-care, time to rest, replenish, pause, reflect. That was very good. I really enjoyed that. The self-care and those questions. I really, really enjoyed that. You took us into a form of a mindfulness practice, but it was like a analytical sort of thing that got us to introspect. Anything that gets us to introspect, I'm a big fan, where you stop and you ask yourself a question and then you go in. The only sort of thing I can say on that one, Auriel, is the first one you did was very good in terms of the pause, but the emotional self-care and the psychological self-care and the spiritual self-care, I felt was a bit rushed. I think that you could have given us a longer pause there, like you did in the first one, because you didn't give us much time to reflect. Okay, so that's my only sort of comment on that. But in theory, I think the exercise itself was brilliant. I really, really think it's good. And I just needed more time. That's all. Then the mindfulness benefits. I like that a lot. A lot of people talk about mindfulness, but they don't speak of the benefits. And you brought that in tonight. So that was nice to hear. It reminded me to talk of the benefits, because I don't. And, I should more. Then, you bring in the mindful attitudes, your triggers. I like the affirmations you started using, very strong words. The video was nice. It was good. It wasn't too long. I think it was the right duration of time. And it also broke the, if people sort of get a little bit sleepy, tired, they're listening to you, then all of a sudden the video comes on and it sort of wakes people up and, there's something different, so it adds a bit of variety and a bit of spice to the presentation. The problem with videos and audio on Zoom, and it's not your fault, but I know that there was music in the video, but we couldn't hear it. Because I could hear little bits and pieces coming through. Zoom is not friendly when it comes to audio. I'm happy that the video worked, but the audio struggles on Zoom. Teams is a much better platform if we're sharing multimedia. But anyway, I think it worked. We didn't need to hear the music. Then going into your last practice, I think you gave us a lot of mindfulness within the session. I felt it was very embodied. I felt it was a very mindful session. Wasn't so much content heavy. It was more experiential. I like that. And you blended your content with experience. That was very clever. Very smart. Good breath instruction. I like the affirmation, calm the body, breathe out. What was it? The stress. I like that. And you said it a couple of times, and then you let us do it on our own a little bit. That was good. That was skillful. And then at the end, you sort of come back into it. I will definitely remember that practice and use it. So now you're combining your breath, mindfulness, and a focus on the body and releasing stress, calming the body. So it was like combining breath, mindfulness, and affirmations all together. Again, very skillful, clever, very smart. What I would have done if I were you is I would have taken that slide down. Have a great day. when you led your practice, you should have just unshared the slides. Again, it creates a dynamic, some movement, a change that wake people up a little bit. That slide, for me, it stayed on too long. They'd have a great day. It was almost as if you were ending when you were still, you know, 3/4 through your practice, through your teach back. Yeah, I love your gratitude, always saying thanks to the audience, saying, you know, thanking everyone for coming. The homework, nice homework for journaling. Grounding exercise, also love that. Nice takeaways that I can use. Yeah, I'm really happy with this Teach Back, Auriel. You put a lot of thought and work and yourself into it. You know, your personal stories. I've seen your journey. I've watched your journey now for the last couple of years. And if there's anybody that's so passionate about health and mental health, it's you, Auriel. And you're an ambassador of the highest order when it comes to this. And I tell you what, I want you to come on. I want you to be my guest on Thrive Circles, and I want you to talk about your experience. You know, like what you did today. I want you to come in and co-facilitate with me for APSA, so you can show your colleagues your journey and the embodiment of how you embraced this journey. And it's been a journey over years. You know, it's weekly. You attend all the sessions, and we love seeing you there. And I think, Auriel, it's because, you know, your pain, you've turned into your purpose. Your trials could be your tribulations. And maybe there's something there, you know, that's why it happened to you. And maybe that's the purpose. Maybe that's the reason. Because, you know, I think you're becoming of benefit to not only your friends and family, but the organization as a whole. So I'm excited about your journey, and I'm going to be following your journey closely. And you know, I want you to keep on checking in with me and informing me what's next. What are you doing? You know, how are you know taking this further? And I'd love to help you take it further, Auriel.
Thanks, Mark.
Very, very happy with this presentation.
Just stay within the 30 minutes. You didn't
Yes, you did. And also, yeah, I will reach out to you privately, and I will let you know. You know, I never tell anybody, like in front of everybody, like my, you know, the result, etc. But I'll reach out to you privately. But all I can say to you, Auriel, is I'm very happy with what you've done here. I really am. You've done a fantastic job. So well done. You made me proud. And
Thanks, Mark.
yeah, I'm going to tell your colleagues, I'm going to tell people at Mindful Revolution that you've done a fantastic job. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Okay, Danielle, let's see. We've got your slides here. Let's move them out of the email and get them going. So let me see if I can share, because I'm going to still have to make some notes. So let me try and organize it in such a way that we can get that sorted out. Okie dokie. Okay. Let's see if this format's going to work. It should do. I'm just positioning it into place. Why is it doing that now? Okay. Does it look all right to you?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay. Let me pull up my notes so that they're out of the way. Move you guys around a little bit. Okay. All right, good, good, good. So we started strong. We started strong. We've got Danielle, who is a friend and colleague, and I'm very excited to be part of her teach back. I believe she's highly skilled, but I'm not gonna put any more pressure on your plate, Danielle. So please just tell me when you want me to move the slide, and I will move it. Okay, so just say, Mark, time to move, and then I'll move it for you. Okay.
I'll just give you a thumbs up if it's
Yeah,
okay.
but I might miss that because I'm typing. So
Okay, no problem.
yeah, but you look great. You've got a good smile on your face. I'm sure it's going to go well. Over to you, my friend.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Lovely to have you all here with me tonight. And yes, extremely nervous. It actually reminds me of my first trial session at October Health. I was so nervous. And that, after having done like more than 100 sessions, for me is extremely nerve-wracking right now. But be that as it may, I'm just going to give you a bit of backstory quickly. In fact, today, Stefan, you were not there last week. I had my session and I've always decided since about 2 weeks ago, I'm going to be a 10 out of 10. But today I wasn't feeling great. And in fact, I almost asked Mark to cancel the session this evening. And I've set every hour an alarm. And part of what I was teaching today in my session is that if we are motivated by something, then it's easier for us just to reconnect with it. And that's pretty much what I want to share with you today, and why I've called my presentation, or the topic is finding equanimity through mindfulness. So through whatever we go through, we come back. And the image that you see is a lotus flower. And for me, I've transitioned from what I call a phoenix rising out of the ashes in 2015. That's when I first had a burnout session or burnout experience. And 8 years later, last year, I had burnout again. So it's a very personal story I'm going to share with you this evening. And the reason I chose the lotus flower is because the lotus is one of the only flowers that I know that rises from the mud without a stain. And it's a symbol of purity, of rebirth, and of strength. And that's my story with mindfulness. It's my love story with mindfulness. So Mark, you can move on to the next slide. Thank you. So I'm not sure if everybody knows the meaning of the word equanimity, and I've just done the phonetic spelling because if I don't know the word or I don't know a name, I always ask people, please give me the phonetic spelling so that I can say your name properly or say the word properly. I've got a love for words, and it means mental calmness, composure, and evenness of temper, especially in difficult situations. So leading on to that, that's my word of the day. I'd like to invite you to do a check-in with your word of the day. You can type it into the chat box so that we can just have a look at what is your word of the day. What's that feeling and that sensation that word brings up for you? Love to see in the chat box what you all have as your word of the day. Adding to my wonderful array of words. Kindness, Aurial. Lovely, Aurial. Thank you. That's pretty much how I see you as well. Synchronicity. Mark, share a little bit more about synchronicity. That's always an interesting word. Maybe you can share a little bit more. If you want to turn on your mic, you're welcome to turn on your mic to share what that word means for you.
No, I had an interesting meeting today, and someone was. It felt as if someone was looking into my soul, and I actually. Then she turns around to me and she said, "It feels like you're looking into my soul." And I was feeling that she was looking into my soul. So it was a weird weird connection, and it felt very synchronistic.
Ah, lovely, lovely. It's a beautiful experience and it doesn't happen very often. So you're really, really blessed to have that experience. Stefan says gratitude. Lovely, Stefan. And I'm going to ask you to expand because you've always got the 10 out of 10. So I'm going to ask you just to expand a little bit for us on gratitude. And then Bronwyn says, Husa, I feel you, Bronwyn. I feel you, Bronwyn. Thanks. And Antoinette says, surrender. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. So yes, Stefan, if you feel comfortable to share, just unmute. You're welcome to share. If not, you're welcome to type it into the chat box. But I love listening to everybody's words. It really talks about your experience for the day, and it gives me a good feel for where you are at as your host for the evening. So I've put on a little link at the bottom. You can open up that link once we share the presentation with you. It is a link to an app called Insight Timer. Our teacher has shared this link with us before, and you're most welcome to go on this specific one. This is a breathing exercise that focuses on the vagus nerve. And for me, again, telling my personal story is a lot around anxiety, depression, and a diagnosis I received a couple of years back, ADHD. So this particular mindfulness practice, breathing exercise, is really what helps me to settle in and get calm for whatever I'm going to approach where a little bit of anxiety and stress is concerned. So I'd like you to close your eyes as you sit in your seat, or if you're on the bed, on a chair, just make yourself a little bit more comfortable. See if you can get yourself 5 or 10% more comfortable. If you need to just place your feet on the ground, whatever it is that's going to bring you the most comfort. Continue to keep your eyes closed, just noticing, being aware of the present moment. We're going to start off with a nice inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And as we exhale, I'm going to ask you to make the sound of the ocean, that whoosh sound. So let's try this together. Nice deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Nice deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And a nice deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. So as we continue with the inhale through the nose and the exhale through the mouth, remembering to exhale with that gentle sound, I'd like you to visualize the ocean. You standing with your feet in the sand, the waves gently or coming in, rolling in, crashing and coming, crossing your feet. You're feeling that cool sensation of the water. And as it touches your feet and it passes by, you feel your feet sinking into the sand, feeling the sand between your toes, the sensation, feeling the warm sunshine on your body, noticing as the water recedes back. And here we can then align our breathing to those waves as they gently roll in. Nice deep inhale through the nose and exhale as it recedes. Nice deep inhale and exhale as it recedes. Continue to visualize standing with your feet in the sand and that waves gently rolling over you. This is a wonderful practice to help you to be able to focus on the present help you to move from the busyness of your life, visualizing a serene, tranquil environment, calming the nerves, calming the anxiety, and bringing your awareness back to the present. Now I'd like to ask you to open your eyes and gently wiggle your fingers and your toes just to bring us back to the present moment. Thank you, everybody. Mark, you can move on to the next slide. Thank you. I'm not able to see. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so moving on from our lovely practice that we took, for me, the question is, what does your day look like? So our mind and our day usually looks a bit like this, right? So maybe just nod your head and show a thumbs up if this is what's going on in your head or in your day. So this is what they call a mind map, right? It's like your mind is going in all directions. And yes, we've got the wonderful distractions of Twitter, Facebook, and our wonderful social media. In fact, today in one of my sessions, one of my participants remembered about a dish that I said I couldn't cook. And she sent me a TikTok video. And I'm so against TikTok, but I couldn't resist opening this because it's Magwinya's vet cook. So I was distracted and off I went onto a tangent and I went to go look at this video, being distracted in my session. And this happens to us all the time. So how do we focus in this age of distraction? How do we make sure that we calm our minds and that we calm our bodies throughout the day with all of the things that we want to do, the positives, and all the distractions, the busy stuff that's happening in our lives? Mark, you can move on to the next slide. So we are but here, right? Your body is present and your mind is what? Either in the past, thinking about the to-do list, what you didn't get done, or what happened, the experience you had. Maybe you were driving to work and there was a car crash and it held up the traffic and you were late and, right? Or you in the future, oh my gosh, I didn't do this and I've got a plan for this and I've got a plan for that. In fact, this is me right now. I am thinking about the past. I had a call with Bronwyn in this week. I promised her I'm going to send her some information, and I'm thinking, oh my word, into the future, I've got to do a proposal for somebody. So already my mind is all over, right? And like my brother-in-law says to me, if you're a guy, you'll fully understand. If you got, especially if you're doing this outside, right? You've got one foot in the past, one foot in the back, and excuse my bluntness, but you're pissing on the present, right? You're just ignoring the present, like completely forgetting that you're actually in the here and the now. And that's something that I had to remind myself about. So yeah, I'm not a guy, but we sit like with this void in the middle, and it's just a puddle that's sitting there in front of us, forgetting about being present. So moving on to the next slide, Mark, thanks. My brain feels a bit like this, right? It feels like it's just brain fog and everything is just like going all over the show. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this. So for me, my story, as I said, is a long story with regards to burnout. So 2015 was my first experience. 8 years later, last year, I was feeling like this again, like literally sitting there wondering, what the hell, Danielle? 8 years, it's happening again. Now, if any of you have ever experienced trauma, you'll know this feeling of, do I really have to go through this again? That anxiety, that trepidation that sits within you is enormous, right? But I reached a point, 2020, I relocated to Johannesburg after having 3 years of blissful life in Mossel Bay at the ocean. I could literally do my mindfulness there, and I was living that life. Decided to come to Joburg to be closer to family, to do the self-care, only for COVID to hit us, and for my family to stay in a different province, my son to be in a different province, and I was solo, having to deal as an essential worker with looking after everybody else. For me, that change was heavy. So I was still being a soldier and going on and doing what I needed to do. 2021 started my first project and I had to retrench people. So that was okay. I was still thinking I'm okay, right? Come 2022, we had to do another change project. This one that was supposed to take 9 months ended up being double the time, 18 months, and my body couldn't handle it anymore. So I knew what it felt like, that trepidation, that anxiety that comes along with what your body tells you. So for me, I decided I'm going to just stop. I'm going to pause, and I'm going to go get the help that I need, because I knew what I needed to do. Despite having gone for the treatment, gone for the help, checked in for 3 weeks, thought I was okay. But 3 weeks later, I was still looking as gaunt as ever. I lost more than 10 kilograms, and I didn't know what was happening. Again, my mind was feeling like this because now I'm in a mode of, I need a plan. I need to get back to work. I need to be healthy. I need to be, bounce back. And I didn't bounce back. In fact, probably if you take a ball that's not inflated, it just lost all its air again. Until I had a panic attack at the gym one day, and a lady taught me to breathe. And that's in fact where my real love story started, with mindfulness. Mark, you can move on to the next slide. Thanks. So, what is mindfulness? Again, the definition by Jon Kabat-Zinn. Mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. This is what I had to learn when I started my love journey. Just like when you meet a new partner in that lovely romantic phase, you got to learn about all of these things. And it takes time. It definitely takes time. And my journey has now been an 8-month journey. So this relationship is only 8 months old, but it's a beautiful journey. And thanks to Jon Kabat-Zinn, for me, I am living what he is sharing in his definition of mindfulness. Mark, you can move on. Thank you. So first and foremost, I had to start. You have to start with self-awareness. Everything starts with self-awareness. So before you go into any relationship, you've got to know yourself, right? So here is a little bit of what I call a biology QRC, a quick reference guide, understanding your body and what actually happens to your body, right? So we all have a nervous system. I'm sure we all know that. We've learned this in biology when we're at school. We have what we call the peripheral nervous system and a central nervous system. We all know about that side, but the peripheral nervous system is divided into 2 parts. The autonomic nervous system, and specifically here, I'm going to focus this evening on the 2 sides that comes into play when we feel anxious, when we feel fear, when we're feeling what I call, when I'm in that mode, on high frequency or frenetic energy. So the sympathetic nervous system, and I have associated with my body feeling sorry for me. And that's why it sympathizes with me and it arouses and it goes into, hello, wake up, you need to take care of yourself mode. And then it goes into another part. The body's able to do this, the parasympathetic nervous system, where it calms you down. So I would like you to remember this as you go through the notes again, when you receive the presentation, just to understand what your body's actually doing to make sense of it. Mark, you can move on to the next slide. Thank you. So here, right, when I was talking about those 2 nervous systems, the fight, flight, or freeze system, which is the sympathetic nervous system, and the calm side of you, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. So what happens, right, on both sides? When your body kicks in and activates that lovely hormone called cortisol, which is your stress hormone, right? It goes into fight, flight, or freeze. Now, everybody responds very differently, and you can even go through all of them in a particular time. I know my first mode is fight. I just go into full combat mode and I want to argue. And then I start freezing. I think about, oh my Lord, okay, what did I say now? And then I want to run away, which is the flight mode, right? I feel like I just want to give up on this thing. I don't want to do it. A bit like this evening, I wanted to cancel on Mark this evening. So your heart rate increases, your respiratory rate increases, you hyperventilate, which is what happens to me. I get panic attacks and I hyperventilate. Your blood pressure can increase if you're prone to high blood pressure, right? your pupils dilate, your digestion or digestive process is affected. And for me, I've developed IBS as a result of this, right? The other side, when our body goes into a calmer state, right, is when we go into what's called the rest and digest mode. Your heart rate starts calming down, your respiratory rate starts evening out. Think about when we did that visualization exercise, what that felt like for you. Your blood pressure starts dropping and your pupils are no longer as dilated. This is what happens physically to your body and why mindfulness is so powerful. You can move on to the next slide. Thanks, Mark. So here's my ultimate question to each and every one of you. Why mindfulness? So for me, I'd like you to have a look at the slide, the summary of the benefits of mindfulness. And I don't know about you, but I always check the star ratings, either for any service I want, but especially for accommodation. 5 stars is obviously great. For me, I've rated 5 stars on each of the different components for mindfulness, the benefits thereof, right? Well-being, reduction of stress, and actual mindfulness. I've not reached everything yet. Like I said, this is a new relationship. It's a love relationship that's developing. So for me, what I have already experienced in this relationship is an overall satisfaction with life. Today, I can laugh, I can joke, I can smile, and I love the space that I'm in. I judge myself less. My go-to saying these days is, I'm using my own ruler to measure myself. I no longer use anybody else's ruler. That's something that somebody asked me one day. So whose ruler are you using to measure yourself against? Are you comparing yourself to others, and why? I actually did this when Mark was giving Aurial feedback. I thought, oh my word, I've done this and I haven't done it. And I thought, Danielle, calm down. It's your presentation. You know what you want to do. And I learned to express kindness to myself. I did what I thought was an expression of me and my relationship with mindfulness and what mindfulness means to me. So self-judgment is lower. Be kind is what I'm practicing. On the reduction of stress, my perceived stress has lowered dramatically. Even yesterday, having a meeting with an MD, I was so nervous. I couldn't find the place. My GPS I wasn't sure if it's giving me the right directions. I had to go through security processes. I sat there and I was nervous, right? And I love what they do when you come into a meeting, they give you a bottle of water. And you can always tell when somebody's nervous, they immediately open the water and they start drinking. And this was me yesterday. And I thought, just calm down, just breathe, just breathe. So for me, practicing has helped me to develop these benefits and reap the benefits of mindfulness, right? So I've got a 5-star rating on the reduction of stress. Where actual mindfulness is concerned, observing my surroundings, observing my experiences, my sensations in my body. These days, I'm able to notice so much more. So yes, my diagnosis is ADHD, and I used to call it living in high definition, not because of my mind only, right? And how busy my mind is, but in fact, through mindfulness is a whole new level of high definition. I smell through mindful eating. I smell the lovely smell of my coffee, my food, my breakfast, my lunch, my supper. You know, I always describe in the forest in October Health, which is a mental health and wellness app, I describe when I have one of my favorite dishes, because I always do this mindfully, the smell of a lovely glass of red wine, the steak, what it's presented like, lovely sun streaming in. And these are all moments that I remember because I was mindfully enjoying that experience. I no longer function on automatic mode. I don't just jump out of bed and get up and go make a cup of coffee and then everything starts kicking in into automatic mode. No, I wake up, I lie in my bed, I have my practice of gratitude. I feel my environment around me, the comfort of what I have, and I express my gratitude for all of that. I get up, I go have my cup of coffee, and I enjoy it. So for me, my feelings of being overwhelmed, my feelings of my thoughts running rampant, have completely learned to sit in the passenger seat and allow me to be the driver in my own life again. So the question is, why mindfulness? My question is, why not? Right? If you look at all these benefits and you have a look at it and you have to give it a star rating, how many stars would it come up for you? You can move on to the next slide. Thank you, Mark. So as we come to an end, right, we've got a few minutes left of our time together. The question is your mind going to be full, like the picture on the left, full of junk going all over the show? Or is it going to be mindful, where you've clarity and focus? So tips for your ongoing practice is consistency, right? When you start a new relationship, consistency is important. Trust is important, right? Trust your process and be consistent. Show up. Take a few minutes, like you would do for your partner. Take the time to be with them, right? Spending time builds connection, right? So take the time, even if it's 5 minutes, even if it's 10 minutes of your time. Alternatively, you can join on October Health, the app. You're welcome to join 12 o'clock every day from Monday to Friday, a guided mindfulness session where there's a wonderful array of hosts that will do a guided mindfulness session with you in the company of others who are like you, coming there to reset, to refocus, and to recharge. The second part that I'm going to ask you to do is to be kind with yourself, right? So it's natural for our minds to wander back into busy mode when we are doing our practice. And here I'm going to say, with my ADHD mind, it automatically goes there. But with practice, we are able to bring our minds back to the breath. Always focus on the breath, that inhale and exhale. The mind has a wonderful ability to listen to the body when we just give it a chance to do so, right? So gently bring it back to the present. Remember where you are. Remember that slide I put up, past and the present and what's happening, the puddle in the middle. Instead of having it a puddle, make sure that you enjoy where you are right now. Next, I'd like to encourage you to use resources. There are many guided mindfulness sessions and meditations, and there are many apps that you can use that will help you on your journey, help you to maintain a regular practice. So you have apps where you can sign up for free, doesn't need to cost you anything, where you have guided mindfulness sessions. In fact, the one app that I put as the link in there, Insight Timer, I've recently discovered that you can actually join the communities and you are able to breathe and see your facilitator while they are busy with the session. I found that one very, very useful. It helped me because I felt included. I felt as part of a community. And even if I did it wrong, it's okay. At least I can go back and I can try and try again. So remember, by incorporating the practice into your daily routine, you can gradually build up the strength. Like they say, muscle memory, mental memory, right? It helps you to become stronger, to become calmer, and to reduce your anxiety. This is my personal story and my personal relationship with mindfulness. Thank you so much for having joined me this evening. And I'd like us just to close off by taking a few deep breaths. So I'd like you to close your eyes and just take a nice deep inhale through the nose and exhale. Inhale through the nose and exhale. And inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. So Mark, if I can just ask you to put up the last slide again for me. Thank you so much. And I'd also just like to end off with a little bit of a quote that resonates with me. What lies before us and what lies behind us are small matters compared to what lies within us. Mindfulness is a powerful practice. It comes from within, and we have the ability to activate this every single day, becoming stronger, becoming wiser. In fact, my beautiful Grace is a testament, I think, to that. But yes, this is for me the practice that I've learned I today look at what I can do every single day to incorporate mindfulness into my life and to share that with others. Thank you once again for joining me in the session. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Danielle. I'm
Sorry.
processing so much and it's so wonderful. I really enjoyed it. The ocean meditation, yes, Antoinette, wasn't that amazing? I like the way you played around with the format, very original. You're breaking the mold in many, many instances. So I'm going to comment last. Friends, words for Danielle. Would anybody like to unmute and maybe offer some feedback? Okay.
So Danielle, from my side, I'm thankful that you didn't cancel your session because it was a extremely valuable and insightful session. For me, the feedback that you gave on October Health, even the Insider app, and I thank you because I spoke to you in the week regarding the October Health and learning about that. So thank you for sharing that. It adds to my journey as well. Just to share, I was in one of your sessions the other day and I got nervous because I was like, gosh, this woman talks so powerfully. There's no shake in her voice. I'm thinking, oh gosh, it's going to rock on Thursday. But you did extremely well. It didn't come across at all that you were nervous. You spoke from the heart. You can see it's something that's close to you. And your vulnerability that you share. I think that's what stood out for me. So thank you. That's all I can say is thank you.
Thanks, Auriel. Auriel, you're not only a good presenter, but you're a great feedback person as well. Um, good. Any other extras for Danielle? Any other extra words? Antoinette, thank you.
Sonia, I just wanted to say I see you and I feel you, and it was really beautiful. You touched me. Thank you. That ocean meditation was really incredible. I've never heard that meditation before, and I'm definitely going to use it. And also just to say that I honor you for sharing your, so vulnerably who you are, and the struggles that you have. I always find that helps us, helps me definitely to, to embrace myself more for the things that I get judged for, by myself mostly, that we perceive that we get judged by the world for them. Yeah. So lovely. You came across really calm, despite what you say. So take that and run with it.
Thanks, Antoinette. Lovely feedback. It's extremely heartfelt. Any other words for Danielle?
Yeah, Mark, if I may go.
Daniel?
Short and sweet, Dee, I really enjoyed your session this evening. Thank you for preparing it for us. Something that stood out for me was just how real and relatable the analogies were that you utilized, raw and authentic. And for me, that helps an audience connect directly because it's practical, right? And it's not pragmatic in any kind of way. I really appreciated that a lot. And I think any audience would take that away from any talk that you delivered. And much like Auriel, I agreed that it was just really, it was authentic in the sense that you showed up as yourself. And so my interpretation of was that you gave us brave and not perfect, and that enhanced your presentation a whole bunch more.
Brave and authentic, absolutely, Bronwyn. Thank you so much for sharing. Any other thoughts or words? Okay. Danielle, thank you. I'm super proud. And over 100 sessions on on the forest. That's a lot. And it's brought you into a very professional space. You're a professional. You've honed your skills beautifully, and your pitch is amazing. Your opening was great. The backstory, reflecting on Stefan's check-in, and also your story about almost asking to cancel, that piqued my interest. I'm like, what's going on? Keeps my attention. It's like holding my mind captivated. Lovely slides, lovely images. Enjoyed the phoenix analogy, giving us a taste of your burnout story, but then stopping there and talking about the lotus flower. Brilliant analogy, and then relating that to your love story. I love that, the love story of mindfulness. That is so sweet and so beautiful. Equanimity, nice to unpack the definition. I love the check-in. What's your word? I mean, very powerful. And then just sort of picking on one or two of us to unmute, very skillful again, taking notice that there is limited time in terms of having everybody comment, and it might blow your time out the water. So you handled that very skillfully and very well. Not easy to handle, but you did it very well. Nice to put the Insight Timer link. I think you had this incredible sort of leaning towards us engaging with an app. And I think that's your experience of being on an app. So you sort of, try to encourage us to do that. And I think it's also very skillful because, a lot of the time we live on our phones. Why not use technology to fight technology? If you're going to use technology, use it wisely, right? Instead of scrolling and scrolling. So it's nice that you bring in, some of the apps, Insight Timer, October Health, etc. Your diagnosis of ADHD was, very open, very vulnerable. The practice, make yourself 10% more comfortable. That is, I could do that. I didn't feel like it was undoable. It was very doable. Good breath instruction, sound of the ocean, loved that. Then visualizing the ocean with the breath, loved that, eh? I definitely need a beach holiday. So if you make me visualize the ocean, I'm super grateful. It's my happy place. You led the practice from your heart. You didn't read it. I was watching your face carefully. You were so in it, you were actually doing it. It's hard to meditate and lead a meditation at the same time. But it was like it was very there for you, very real, and it was from the heart, and it was very powerful, So I always encourage anybody, if you're going to lead a mindfulness practice, just as if you've done it 1,000 times. And I feel almost that you have. It was all over your face. I love the alignment with the breathing and the waves. Very, very nice. And then a little bit of movement at the end to end the practice. Also really great. The mind map visual was so cool. I loved that. Your example of being distracted in your own session made me laugh. I can just imagine. But also again, vulnerable, and forgiving for yourself, or just understanding or being kind. The past, present, future slide was excellent, and I had to laugh at the pissing on the present. I thought that was so funny, and I'll never forget that. Then a slide of the woman and the fragments looked a little bit like you. Coming back to it, your personal story, moving to Joburg. What a story, What a big story, right? And then having to retrench people, 18 months, 9 months, turned to 18 months. And your burnouts, your physical, the loss of weight. And then finding your journey into mindfulness. I was thinking at that point, this presentation is such a brilliant place to start. Like if you don't know anything about what mindfulness is, this is a great place to start, you know, as well as Aurial's presentation. I mean, I think both presentations very acceptable, very like entry point. But I mean, even for me, like having, you know, been on the journey for a while, I'm still learning from you, still learning from Aurial. So yeah, I just think it's a great place for people that want to get into mindfulness and to be inspired by that. Understanding your body, the good explanation of the nervous system. Your slides were clear, easy to follow, not too heavy. You speak about your stress response, how you first go into the fight, and then talking about cancelling this evening, again, going into flight. Yeah, I think we're all happy you didn't cancel. You know, you're very open. You share like you share what's going on with you, and your stress, your anxiety problems, and in fact, you normalize the conversation. Again, I love that. You know, as a facilitator in mental health, normalizing the conversation is what we have to do. We have to normalize the conversation. We have to speak about our own mental struggles as we do our own physical struggles. You know, guys, I've got a sore back today, and I'm not 100%. You know, guys, I'm anxious today. That's just so normal, and you normalize it. It just feels like it's conversational and normal to talk about these things, and it is, and it should be more. So thank you for normalizing the conversation. You look great. Love your hair, your audio, your visual, great lighting. Excellent points in why mindfulness, saying you haven't reached them all, but that's okay. You know, it's a journey. And, you know, the analogy of the ruler that you're using, and how you felt when I was giving Aurial feedback, and you're like, oh no, you know, what a brilliant thing to bring in, off the cuff, off the bat, unprepared, spontaneous example. Wow, you know, I was like, shit, that's brilliant. I love it. Using such a recent example, meeting with the MD today, drinking the water, you know, you just took me there. Mindfulness being high definition, smell, coffee, you know, I just think you're very inspirational as a person. I just felt like I was living in your life, almost as if you brought me into your world so much, and I could feel your world, and it felt like a beautiful life. And even after all of your pain and trials, I just felt like my teacher calls it the warmth of the practice. You know, I'm feeling the warmth of your practice, embodied. You speak with so much conviction, embodied. Great image of mindful or mindful. Tips for ongoing, excellent. Welcome to join the app. You then talking about the mechanics of mindfulness at the end, bringing the mind back. Very good. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that. The last, you know, giving us 3 breaths at the end. If you had more time, I would have liked a longer practice, but you did give us a nice practice with the ocean breath. Very memorable practice. Yeah, Danielle, I'm really grateful for the effort that you put into this session, and for how easy you make it look. You know, you just make it look so simple and easy and effortless in how you teach back. Very inspirational. But listen, guys, don't freak out. Danielle is a pro, okay? This is her job. This is her job. Like, this is what she does, okay? So don't feel intimidated by her. She's a professional, and that's how she comes across. So all we can do is learn from you, Danielle, and take notes, and you know, make key points. And I'm learning from you, you know, as a peer. So really appreciate what you've done tonight. Super grateful. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I really, really loved your teach back. Super cool.
Thanks, Mark. Can I just share quickly about my experience?
Yeah.
So yeah, I realized towards the end, I wanted to have a closing meditation, but I realized that I need it, and this is what happens in the forest as well. You sort of have to cut and shift as you go. And that last slide, I could have almost said, let me rather sacrifice the last slide and do a longer mindfulness. And then you put the slide on the screen. And then I was like, oh shit, excuse me, I need to go back to the slide. So this happens when you don't navigate, when you're not driving yourself. But all the same, it was a bit stressful. I was worried because I put notes into the slide for myself, areas. But because I tried to, and this was the conversation I had with you and I had the prep session, is I want to use visuals more so that I can remember without having to go to, a script that I've prepared for myself. And the last one for me, the one I would have loved to end with is the loving kindness meditation, which I shared with you. But then I realized, oh, you don't have enough time. So I think when I do something like this, when it's visual, and it's only half an hour, I would like to find a shorter meditation at the end that really is a bit like the visualization, because visualization for me is extremely powerful. As you describe it, I really do actually live in that space.
Cool.
And it helps me to calm down because I know I'm very nervous for what's coming. So that's something that I just would maybe, just give some advice to everybody, is try and use visualization to help calm the nerves a lot. So yeah, that's all, I think, for me in a nutshell. And then also just a little bit, I think I went very much onto the sort of body's dynamics. I think I could have slightly changed it a little bit. I felt a bit wobbly in the 5-star slide. So I don't know if that came through, but yeah, that's the one slide that I thought I could have shared it a little bit different with everybody. But that's my overall experience. Thanks. And thank you for the feedback, everybody, and especially Mark as well. Thank you.
No, it's our pleasure. I didn't see you having a wobbly. I enjoyed the format. I enjoyed how you put it together. I think it's, skillful. And again, I keep saying, like, if I didn't know anything about it, I'd be like, wow, this information is really cool. And like, this lady's life has changed in 8 months, and she's speaking about these things, and it sounds really nice, and she seems happy and peaceful, and there's some cool information. I mean, it all rounded into a very skillful delivery. So I just, that's the way I feel. I mean, I've seen hundreds of teachbacks, and yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with what I've seen tonight. With you and Auriel putting in lots and lots of work, good work. Yeah. Any comments or questions from anybody? Are you good? Good. All right. So happiness. Next week we have Antoinette on her own. So it will be a shorter class unless somebody wants to join her teaching back. Bronwyn, you are the week after. And that's and then I have invited Kerry as well, but she's not doing her teach back. And I know Kiasha is also going to do a teach back. She's not well, so she jumped off tonight. That's where she went. She's got swine flu. So yeah, we'll just slot it all in. And if any, that's how we're going to go. So you're welcome to reach out to me individually, privately. Let me know dates. If you want to do your teach back, I'm very happy to slot you in. And I thoroughly enjoyed tonight. It was better than watching Netflix. So thank you for that.
Go watch Sleep Revolution on DSTV. It's amazing, and it talks to this as
Oh,
well.
really?
In case you
Okay.
guys haven't seen it, it's really cool.
Okay. The Sleep Revolution.
Yeah. It's a study they did in Australia, and it talks about the self-care component of Auriel's presentation.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty tired, so I'm actually going to go to bed now and have my own sleep revolution. but I'll watch it tomorrow. So thanks, everyone. Okay.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Guys, next
Thanks,
week.
everyone.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Well done, ladies.
Well done.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.